Chosen one, what I'm about to share will awaken something deep and ancient within your soul. There's a hidden narrative unraveling around you, a shadowed plot that's been silently brewing behind the scenes for far too long. But now the veil is lifting and every secret is being forced into the light. Somewhere, someone is furiously tapping away at a keyboard, consumed by an obsession to dissect your life. They scroll through your posts, study your pictures, and screenshot every fragment of your digital presence, desperate to uncover something, anything, that could justify the relentless storm they've unleashed against you. But here's the truth they're terrified to face. There is no evidence. There never was. Every rumor, every twisted claim, it's all smoke and mirrors, shadows of their own brokenness projected onto your brilliance. What's surfacing now goes beyond petty slander. This isn't just envy or bitterness. This is calculated. This is spiritual warfare dressed up as concern, masked as innocent conversation, and delivered with a smile that hides venom. The most dangerous part, some of them have become so entangled in their own lies that they no longer recognize fiction from reality. You've become their obsession, their waking thought, their distorted mission, and they've been relentless. Ever since your light began threatening to expose their hidden darkness. Every quiet step you've taken to heal, every piece of wisdom you've absorbed, every new layer of peace you've claimed, they've been watching, silently, studying your rhythm, tracking your evolution, knowing your daily patterns better than those who claim to love you. But here's what they never expected. While they plotted your downfall, you were rising, and now the truth is about to make itself known. They see when you uplift others, when you choose to heal, when you build something beautiful in your own life. Yet in their relentless quest to find fault, they've woven a whole web of accomplices, people equally invested in tearing you down. Through whispers and poisoned words, they've painted you as the villain in a narrative where, in truth, you are and always have been the hero. The true masterpiece of their manipulation was when they managed to get to someone close to you, someone who once loved you, trusted you, and looked up to you. They spun a story so intricate, so convincing, and packed with fabricated details that this person turned against you without ever seeking your side of things. That's the depth of darkness at play here. Chosen one, this wasn't about simply hurting you. It was about weaponizing the very people you hold dear, using your closest relationships as instruments against you. What they created went beyond personal hatred. It became a collective movement. Imagine a group of people, each contributing their own brand of toxicity, each one almost thrilled at the thought of your downfall. They formed a kind of enterprise of destruction, a twisted alliance fueled by your pain as their currency. They became so drunk on their own false narratives that they began making bold promises to one another, promises of what they would do to you once their imaginary evidence was revealed. One boasted about having medical records that would ruin your reputation. Another swore up and down they had witnesses to events that never even took place. And a third insisted they possessed financial documents proving you were a fraud. Each person brought their own fabricated evidence to the table, and together they constructed a case that only existed in their shared fantasy. But the beautiful thing about truth is that it never needs an army to protect it. It doesn't require elaborate schemes or desperate late-night plotting. Truth just exists, patient, unmoved, quietly waiting for the moment it's called to shine. And that moment is here. The original mastermind behind this smear campaign made a fatal mistake. They became so obsessed with making people hate you that they promised receipts they never had, evidence they couldn't produce, and proof that was only ever real inside their twisted imagination. Now, as the people in their toxic circles start demanding those promised revelations, the entire operation is collapsing in on itself faster than they can keep up. That's the beauty of divine justice. It often turns those who tried to destroy you into the very instruments of your vindication. The group that once gossiped about you now finds itself asking hard questions. Where are those medical records? What happened to the so-called witness statements? Why hasn't a single piece of actual evidence surfaced? Suddenly, the person who started all this is scrambling, making excuses, asking for more time, promising that the truth is coming soon. but soon has stretched from days to weeks, then months, and still there's nothing. Meanwhile, your life keeps flourishing in ways that directly contradict every single lie they've told. They claimed you were secretly struggling financially, but your prosperity is obvious to everyone around you. They accused you of moral failings, yet your character only grows brighter and more respected with each passing day. The spiritual darkness they tried to pin on you has been completely overshadowed by the undeniable light you radiate everywhere you go. And here's where the narrative flips. The very people who were supposed to help ruin you are now defending your name. Not because they have suddenly become your allies, but because they're tired of looking like fools. They've woken up to the fact that they were manipulated, used as pawns in someone else's twisted campaign. The orchestrator of this operation is now facing what they never anticipated: total exposure. The mask they've worn for so long is falling away, revealing the truth not just about their lies, but about who they really are underneath. Every accusation they hurled at you was actually a confession of their own darkness. Every flaw they pointed out in you was simply a mirror of their own brokenness. Their unhealthy obsession with you has cost them everything that truly mattered in their own life. Relationships have fallen apart because they couldn't stop fixating on you. Their work has suffered from wasted hours spent stalking your presence online. And even their health has declined from sleepless nights spent stewing in bitterness over someone who no longer even thinks about them. They've literally made themselves sick with hatred while you have continued to thrive and grow in peace. But perhaps the most devastating revelation for them is still to come. The person they manipulated into betraying you, your soulmate, your closest friend, the one whose turn against you cut the deepest, is starting to awaken to the truth. This person who once cherished your loyalty and love, who saw the real you up close, is finally beginning to question everything they were told. The cognitive dissonance tearing through their mind has become almost unbearable. How can they possibly reconcile the intimate, genuine person they once knew with the monster they were so convincingly told you were? The contradiction between your unwavering character and the damning allegations they accepted is glaring. And the answer is simple: they can't, because those accusations were never true. What you're witnessing now, chosen one, is not just psychological manipulation. It's spiritual warfare in its most insidious form. The forces moving against you understood something vital about your destiny. Perhaps even before you fully realized it yourself, they recognized the unique power within you, the influence you have, and the brilliant light you carry into dark spaces. That's why they targeted you so meticulously. They needed to stop you from stepping fully into your purpose. Nothing about their attack was random. The calculated way they targeted your closest relationships, the precision with which they tried to dismantle your reputation, was no accident. This was a coordinated assault on your divine assignment, orchestrated by entities who understand spiritual law better than most people ever will. They believed that if they could isolate you from your support system, make you doubt your worth, or convince you that you were the problem, they could delay or even derail your purpose indefinitely. What they failed to account for is the powerful protection that surrounds chosen ones, a protection that ignites most fiercely when the assault is at its worst. Every negative intention, every lie they sent your way has boomeranged back on them with amplified force. Each falsehood they spread has become a reflection of their own character. The relationships they tried to sabotage in your world have turned toxic in their own. The very spiritual laws they attempted to twist for harm have now turned against them, delivering justice that is both undeniable and awe-inspiring. Now, the person who masterminded this campaign is enduring their ultimate nightmare: total exposure with absolutely no way to control the narrative. Their so-called flying monkeys, the people they recruited to amplify the lies about you, are demanding real answers. They want to see the proof they were promised, to know how they were convinced to participate in such destructive behavior based solely on fabrications. The mastermind is experiencing a psychological breakdown, watching their carefully spun web unravel in real time, powerless to stop the collapse. Every day that goes by without them producing any actual evidence only makes their desperation more obvious, their guilt more apparent, and their credibility crumble further. Here's where the story becomes truly poetic. The very traits they tried to destroy in you, your authenticity, your unwavering integrity, your genuine spirit, are now glaringly missing in themselves. Their dishonesty is being exposed for all to see. Their manipulations highlighting their inability to form authentic bonds. Their hatred underscoring the emptiness within. The difference between who you are and who they are has become so stark, even our most loyal supporters are starting to reconsider. People are asking tough questions. If they could lie about this, what else have they lied about? If they can fabricate such a story about you, who's to say they haven't done the same to others? The financial fallout of their obsession is now impossible to ignore. Money that could have fueled their own growth was wasted investigating you. Opportunities lost because they were fixated on plotting your downfall. And joyful relationships were sacrificed at the altar of their own bitterness. But the spiritual consequences run even deeper. Every person they convinced to turn against you now represents a potential blade at their own back. Each lie weighs heavily on their conscience, and every moment spent in darkness has only intensified their resistance to the light. In their attempt to create a hell for you, they've built one for themselves. Most painfully of all, the person closest to you, the one whose betrayal struck deepest, is now facing the full gravity of their mistake. They're finally seeing the truth about who you truly are, and it's breaking their heart. They realize now that they traded something sacred, your real love and unwavering loyalty, for nothing but a handful of lies and manipulation. Desperate to find their way back to you, they're discovering that some bridges, once burned, cannot be easily rebuilt. They're learning, perhaps for the first time, that trust broken by betrayal does not heal overnight. Their decision to believe strangers over someone who had consistently proven their worth is leaving consequences that reach far beyond the momentary chaos. This is the moment where the story pivots in a way not even the craftiest manipulators could have anticipated. Divine forces have been stirred into action by the sheer audacity of the attack against you. Chosen one, what was designed to bring about your downfall has instead become the very spark that launches you into a level of elevation you never could have foreseen. The timing of their exposure was no accident. It was all divinely orchestrated. Every falsehood allowed to circulate did so just long enough for the true nature of everyone involved to be brought to light. Those who eagerly gossiped about you, those who accepted the worst without ever seeking the truth. Each has been marked, their choices noted. The divine has been quietly keeping score, separating the wheat from the chaff, ensuring that only what is authentic remains in your life. Remarkably, their own words have become prophecies of their downfall. Every curse they spoke over you has circled back into their own world. Every boundary they tried to place around your potential has now become their own barrier. Every opportunity they tried to steal from you has slammed shut in their faces. The spiritual laws they attempted to twist have now turned against them with a supernatural precision, serving a justice that leaves no room for confusion. Now the very people who position themselves as your adversaries are unwittingly serving as instruments of your vindication. The web of lies they wove is now the canvas against which your truth stands out in radiant contrast. The community that was once poised to turn against you has become a chorus of witnesses to your true character, something that could never have been revealed so vividly without this trial. How you've responded to this betrayal has uncovered strengths within you that you may not have even realized you possessed. Your grace under pressure, your refusal to stoop to their tactics, and your commitment to truth, even when it would have been easier to retaliate with deception. All of this has been observed by both earthly eyes and higher spiritual forces. Because of these trials, doors are opening for you now that never would have appeared without such a test. The new relationships you are building are forged with people who saw you at your lowest and still believed in you. The platform you are stepping onto now is one reserved only for those who have demonstrated unshakable integrity through the storm. You were never meant to walk this path alone, and now your tribe is assembling, drawn to the authenticity and light you continue to embody. Quick pause, family. If this message resonates with your spirit and you feel called to support this sacred work, you're welcome to buy me a coffee. Your support keeps this space overflowing with truth, light, and divine clarity. The link is in the description. And if you're vibing with this, drop number 88 in the comments below. Let's keep this energy flowing. Meanwhile, the architect of this campaign against you now stands at a crossroads, a choice that will determine their ultimate fate. They can persist in the delusion, doubling down on lies that everyone can now see through, or they can finally confront the truth of who they've become and what they've done. All signs suggest they're choosing denial, spiraling deeper into falsehood, and as a result, their own downfall is accelerating. Now they're making threats they can't fulfill, promises they can't keep, and wild claims so unbelievable that even their most loyal followers are starting to ridicule them. They've become a cautionary tale, a living example of what happens when jealousy and hatred are allowed to run unchecked, a parody of their former self unraveling for all to see. But this is where the story becomes even more powerful and unexpected. The very qualities they tried so hard to break in you, your versatility, your many talents, your undeniable originality, have now become the solid foundation for your elevation. They couldn't bear the fact that you weren't just skilled in one area. Your gifts seemed to flow endlessly, fueled by a wellspring of creativity and wisdom that set you apart from everyone else. Their frustration wasn't just with what you already had, but with the limitless potential you were stepping into. They hated that you couldn't be boxed in, that you weren't following any script or template they could predict or control. Their envy ran deeper than material things. It was rooted in the realization that you were becoming something far greater than even you imagined. As your transformation accelerated and your influence expanded, they sensed that unless they acted fast, you'd soon reach a level where nothing could hold you back. What they failed to realize is that their attack became the very spark that activated your destiny. Every spiritual weapon aimed to dim your beauty or dull your light has only backfired spectacularly, igniting a radiance within you that is impossible to ignore. Instead of making you less attractive, their negativity has awakened a glow that draws people in far beyond the surface. It's your energy, your presence, and your authentic power that have become magnetic. The very essence they tried to steal or suppress has been multiplied, not diminished. Their desperate attempts to make you seem unstable, unreliable, or untrustworthy have only reinforced the opposite in the eyes of others. Your consistent integrity, the honesty in your actions, and the grace with which you've handled every false accusation have shattered every lie they ever told about you. The contrast between their wild stories and your lived reality has become so glaring that people are starting to see through the facade. They're realizing that anyone willing to lie so boldly about someone so genuinely good must be capable of lying about anything. Perhaps the greatest blow for your adversaries is having to watch you move forward with such ease and momentum while they remain trapped in the very web of toxicity they spun. Their hatred has frozen them in place, while you continue to grow, expand, and thrive in ways they never imagined possible. They're stuck in a prison of their own making, obsessed with you, while you are breaking free, reaching new heights of joy and abundance beyond their wildest comprehension. What makes this transformation especially beautiful is that you're not merely recovering from their assault, you're transcending it completely. The version of you they once tried to destroy no longer exists. You have evolved beyond their reach, and the life they tried so hard to ruin has been replaced by something so extraordinary that their original schemes now look small and foolish in hindsight. What was meant to harm you has in fact triggered your metamorphosis. And here's the most breathtaking part of all, chosen one. While they've been slowly unraveling, consumed, and hollowed out by their obsession with you, you've quietly been building a masterpiece out of your life. Every single day they spent scheming in the shadows, plotting your downfall. You were pouring your energy into creating value, nurturing your vision, and expanding your gifts. While they paced their rooms in the dead of night, losing sleep to their bitterness and resentment, you found deep, restorative rest, aligned with your purpose and at peace with your spirit. Each minute they squandered fueling destruction and chaos, you devoted to growth, healing, and construction of character, of relationships, of your legacy. The life you're living right now stands as a living contradiction to every rumor and lie they tried to circulate about you. Your continued success is the loudest evidence of your strength and character, and your unwavering peace is undeniable proof of your spiritual maturity and inner stability. The remarkable growth you display day after day serves as a testament to your resilience, a signal to the world that you haven't just endured their attacks. You've used them as fuel to rise higher than ever before. This story, which began in the darkness with someone feverishly typing and searching for evidence against you that never existed, is now coming full circle. That same person so eager to see your ruin is now trapped by the consequences of their own choices. The intricate web of lies they spun, thinking it would ensnare you, has become a prison for their own spirit and reputation. The very people they once enlisted as accomplices in your destruction are now serving as the jury that holds them accountable, questioning their motives and exposing their falsehoods. The proof they once promised, those elusive documents, those fabricated stories, has become the undeniable evidence of their deception. Their professional world, which once seemed stable, is now crumbling under the weight of their dishonesty. Colleagues who previously admired them are distancing themselves, wary of trusting someone who could manufacture such elaborate betrayals. Business connections that took years to cultivate are dissolving, tainted by the knowledge that if they could attempt to destroy you, they could do it to anyone. The very reputation they tried to erase from your life has now vanished from their own. Underneath it all, their physical and mental health are rapidly deteriorating. The chronic stress of living a double life, maintaining lie after lie, dreading the day of exposure, battling exhaustion from a fight they can never win, has begun to take a devastating toll. It's as if their own body is rebelling, rejecting the toxic energy they have generated for so long. On top of that, their desperate attempts to mimic your success, to steal your approach, your style, your presence, have only exposed the emptiness at the core of their efforts. The copycat behavior, once subtle, is now glaringly obvious. They thought they could imitate your essence, replicate your brilliance, and somehow conjure your results for themselves. Instead, all they've proven is that authenticity is inimitable. Originality is priceless, and true spiritual presence cannot be forged or faked. Their every attempt to be you has only cast a brighter light on your unique, irreplaceable identity. And now the most crushing realization is dawning on them. They have become the very things they accused you of being. While they pointed fingers and called you manipulative, it was they who orchestrated intricate, damaging schemes, revealing their own true nature all along. They accused you of being deceptive, all while their own life was built on a foundation of lies. They pointed fingers, claiming you had hidden motives, all the while concealing their own dark agendas behind a mask of concern. Their projections became so complete, so consuming, that they ultimately morphed into the very accusations they hurled at you. Meanwhile, the people they manipulated into turning against you are now waking up to their own reckoning. It isn't just embarrassment they're feeling, it's a bone-deep horror at how effortlessly they were led astray. Now they're forced to grapple with the reality of their own judgment, questioning their ability to separate truth from fiction and realizing how susceptible they were to outside influence. Some feel so ashamed of their part in the plot against you that they are withdrawing from social circles, too humiliated to face the world they once participated in with such confidence. And then there is your soulmate, the one whose betrayal wounded you most. Now this person is feeling the full, crushing weight of their mistake. They are finally seeing you with clear eyes, each from the poison that was drip-fed into their mind. The painful chasm between who you are and actually are and who they were told you were is heartbreaking. And the realization that they discarded something truly precious, your love, loyalty, and authentic presence, hits them harder than any loss. They see now that what they let go of in exchange for empty lies and manipulations was irreplaceable. But while they and your other former friends wrestle with regret and self-doubt, you are experiencing a remarkable restoration. Every blessing, opportunity, and relationship that was sabotaged or taken from you has been not just returned, but multiplied. Where they sought to isolate you, the universe has brought a new community around you, one that truly sees and appreciates your authentic spirit. The reputation they tried to tarnish has not only been rebuilt, but now rests on an unshakable foundation, one tested by fire and proven unbreakable. The spiritual attacks and curses sent your way have been reflected back, each one boomeranging with greater force. Every manipulation has been laid bare, and the world now sees who was truly at fault. The lesson has been learned the hard way. Those who target the chosen are never alone. For chosen ones are surrounded by a force of divine protection that grows stronger with every attempt to undermine them. And as this chapter comes to a close, a new one begins for you, more radiant and powerful than before. The person who launched this campaign against you now faces the consequences of their own actions, exposed and abandoned. The people they once manipulated have deserted them. Their lies have been unmasked, and there is no corner left to hide in. But your story doesn't end with their downfall. It begins with your ascension. The influence you now hold, the respect you command, the platform you occupy, have all been earned through perseverance in the face of adversity. You have not only survived the fire, you have emerged transformed, strengthened, and wiser than ever. The relationships you're forming now are with those who have seen your authenticity at its most vulnerable and chosen to stand by you. The doors opening now are ones reserved for those who have demonstrated unshakable character. Your calling is clearer than ever, refined and strengthened by the very forces that tried to break it. Even the one whose betrayal hurt most is now desperate to make amends, finally recognizing the magnitude of what they threw away. Whether forgiveness is possible rests entirely in your hands, because now you hold all the power in that relationship. The story that started with someone obsessively tracking your every move ends with that person's complete irrelevance. They have faded into the background, their life diminished by the very hatred they tried to use against you. While you have built something extraordinary with love and integrity, they are now a warning to others. While you stand as a beacon of inspiration, proof that attacking a chosen one is spiritual self-destruction. You have learned that your protection is absolute, your light indestructible. The power they tried to drain from you has only increased. The purpose they sought to derail has accelerated. The destiny they attempted to deny you has been fully activated. And somewhere in a dark room, someone is still furiously searching, desperately hoping to find evidence that never existed, clinging to the fantasy that the truth can somehow be rewritten. But you, chosen one, are far beyond their reach. You have outgrown their influence, their bitterness, and their ability to touch your peace. You have embraced the most profound lesson of all, that sometimes the greatest gift your enemies can offer is the chance to prove you are everything they claimed you weren't. The war is truly over. The truth stands unshaken. The chosen one has risen, stronger, wiser, and more radiant than ever before. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm, to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. This helps us continually improve our content to offer you the best. The link to Buy Me a Coffee is in the description. No gift is too small. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity helps spread God's word and brings hope to others. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We've enjoyed following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time.